Hey everyone, this is Lori with Three Keys Astrology, and I felt compelled to do this video today, um, and I want to caution you that we're going to be talking about some very serious things. So Three Keys Astrology is my private Facebook group. You're invited. Three Keys Astrology is my website, where you can order readings at this moment via PayPal, but that might be soon changing if the website allows other forms of payment. Please make no mistake that astrology is an ancient and divine science and art, and it is a study. My astrology approach is relationship based, and it has to do with our minds, our bodies, and our souls, but not our own. And yes, there are a lot of people that are self-interested. And this is a theme that's really prevalent right now. It started with the selfie generation and people being so enamored with themselves. And this is absolutely the antithesis of the soul's purpose and evolution as seen through your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. And I offer many readings on my channel. I'm the only astrologer who does that for new membership because it's an integral part of your three keys. And when you have keys that fit, they unlock doors in our lives to the magic and the mystery that is what life is all about. The reason I'm doing this video today is in our group on Three Keys Astrology, I talked to you about Scorpio. There's a video on the channel called The Tale of Two Scorpios that I hope that you'll enjoy and understand, and I'd really like to hear your comments. I put a lot of work into my business, and it's important to me that I hear your feedback. Scorpio overall is about mastery of transformation. But Scorpio is ruled by two malefic planets, Pluto and Mars, and so it is indeed there in that area of life that we'll be faced with death, crisis, and serious intensity. I've talked to you the final week in October weekly scope on this channel on YouTube that Three Keys Astrology defines, as do all my weekly scopes for you, the energy. And I'm empathic and a healer and highly intuitive. And while I was born this way, my intuition skyrocketed after a traumatic brain injury. And I awoke at 3:30 in the morning 2 nights ago, and someone came to mind. And I did a reading for this person about 3 years ago. Please understand how dangerous these times are for this next 6 weeks. This channel has 5 or 6 Mars videos, and please don't underestimate the diabolical energy that is on our planet right now. Anybody participating in destruction and cruelty and is a part of the problem. And please make no mistake, there is a lot of danger right now. We're building on a full moon, and the fire that is interplanetary mixing up and manifesting on planet Earth is something that will evoke terror and evil in people that are imbalanced, deranged, and who wield their power over others. It's a dangerous time for children. It's a dangerous time for mothers. It's a dangerous time for women in general. And you can see the final week of October scope to understand the reasons why I produced individual sign readings for all signs, and I ask you to apply your 3 keys to that. The reason I'm doing this video is that shock that woke me out of a sound sleep. At 3:30 in the morning, the first person that came to my mind, of 4,000 readings that I have done, was in a critical and dangerous moment in her life. And sorry. I know that people that do these kinds of things aren't interested in evolving their soul and adhering to the directions that God gives us. But those of us that are parents, friends, neighbors, professionals, and especially astrologers are here to ask you to take a good measure of anyone in your life that's trying to wield power over you, or that is being cruel to children or women. And I will, until I die, not be part of the equality of the sexes. God made us very different, but it's in that harmony of getting along and understanding each other. And so I will die hoping and praying that men, the stronger sex, physically stronger, will be men who are considerate, caring, and loving to women and children. And I measure a man's integrity by such things. And so I'm asking you not to turn a blind eye to anything that you see that's critical. The situation that I learned about last night is someone who's states and states away from me, where I live, my home in Buffalo, New York. But energy is contagious. And when you're tapped intuitively and a feeling person, the locale doesn't matter. And I have members in this group that are in Ireland who I prayed for and felt their energy. Sonata, Alex, lots of you that are very far away from me. And you too have this intuitive capability and promise in your heart, your soul, your bones, your muscles, and I'm asking you to use it now more than ever while power is being wielded and all this ugly control and manipulation is on fleek. What ended up happening to this person was because of the catalyst suspicion, which is very scorpionic. And I just want you to hear this, please hear this very clearly and very loudly, that every single human being on this planet has a shadow side. We all have parts of us that are not nice, need a lot of work, and need transformation, which is what Scorpio is all about. The mastery, that letter M with the arrow pointing up, and that's what I'm asking you to take a look at in your life, but most especially if you have any family member, anybody that you love, neighbor, friend, co-worker, family member that is being manipulated and controlled. It's time for you to take a stand and to ask for professional help to get them out of the problems that they're in. This person was in a fatal crisis that I suddenly awoke in shock and pulled out of a sound sleep. I did this reading 3 years ago, you guys. I don't see this person. I don't personally know this person. And indeed, she was in a hotel room, 7 months pregnant, and being accused of cheating because of the person, her power monger, control freak, and unfortunately abuser that she let get intimate with her, threatened her life, choked the air out of her life, took glass, and threatened to cut her baby out of her in her 7 months of pregnancy. Any of us that have been physically abused or mentally abused know the torture where our minds split. Our minds are fractured, our hearts are fractured, our bodies are fractured, and we can't make good, sound decisions. There's something really awful that takes place when someone does that to you. And this very situation reminded me, and those of you that are young, that are part of my followers and on the channel, if you want to have an example of diabolical, this very situation mimicked what happened in the late 1960s when Sharon Tate, the pregnant lover of Roman Polanski, a famous movie producer who later on was accused and is a pedophile, accused over and over again of child abuse, but at this time, a sick group of people where Charles Manson led them went to their house, broke in, and I'll let you go look, but it was a similarly cruel and criminal replica of what this crimes that took lives and shocked the nation. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, people that are diabolical get good ideas out of this kind of tragedy and news. And so I'm asking you, please don't be numb. Please know when it's time to call in help. And if you're somebody who hates the police and wants to defund the police, you just might not want to follow me. I am someone who believes in law and order, and I am someone who studied human nature in college and fervently in astrology, and we do better with law and order. And yes, there's cruelty, but the population is to the nth degree much more cruel than a handful of police that have done the wrong thing. You don't know what they have to go see every day in their lives, and it's stories like I'm telling you right now. So I just encourage you to please, when I looked at the astrology chart yesterday, after finding out about this horrific incident, we have a couple of very karmic houses in the astrology chart, the 4th house, and the 8th house, and the 12th house. And these are all water houses that have to do with the subconscious mind. And indeed, somebody that's capable or threatens to cut a baby out of a woman's body, to take someone else's life, is someone who's very deranged and diabolical. And they're out there. And it's at these critical times of the year when we're approaching a full moon. And at this moment, if you're watching this video, it's just past noon on October the 28th when the moon just moved into Aries. And that moon is with Mars. And this is hot and this is tempered. And Venus is in Leo, and that's fiery. And Mars is retrograde, so that's bringing up things in the past, the shaming, the blaming, the guilt, bringing up hell, indeed hell. And we are in that cardinal cross with those malefic planets. And I've got videos all over the channel starting from last fall when I started to feel this horrible energy that would become what is 2020, that I have spoken about over and over on this channel. I'm not a fatalist. I'm not somebody who's born suspicious. I'm not into conspiracy theory, but I am very realistic. I've got a double Taurus, and I've lived on this planet for 58 years, and I have been at the helm and hands of people that are cruel and diabolical. And I indeed was in a position, just like this young girl, with someone that I trusted, that I allowed to be my lover, that was cruel and diabolical and abusive. And many of us have faced this, and it's so very confusing. And your brain splits off when this is a person that gives you pleasure and makes you feel happy, that you love. And a lot of times we have dreams of marriage. We don't mate and date without such ideas. That is also ingrained in our DNA, to mate, to marry, to reproduce. And so my heart's going out to this young girl, and I ask all of you on the channel that are healers and loving and caring to send your prayers. It's happening too much. Whenever the moon is full, especially, with such clashing energies that we have at this moment in time. It's man against woman, and it's man against child, and it's cruel. And it's this very morning, I awoke to hear a neighbor talking to a 2-year-old saying, I'm gonna fucking beat the fuck out of you. Where I come from, that's not the way you talk to 2-year-olds. And so, and because I live in an apartment complex, loft apartments with thin walls where there are 24 units in the building that I live in, as an astrologer, it's interesting to me that when the energies are tense and tight and pulling, that I hear the loudest screams, hollers, foul language, and feel the heartbeat of the city in Buffalo, New York. I live where a feeder comes off into this downtown in the city. The pace of the traffic is more. There will be more accidents, more cruelty. Please watch your words. And please let those people appear and show you that you're around danger. And then, gosh, do something about it. That's what Scorpio is all about. It's a transformation of getting away from the diabolical. In this woman's chart, on the cusp of the 8th house, Uranus is an opposite her moon. Moon is mother. Moon is pregnancy. Moon is that transformation when that soul is given and comes to a woman. When new life is a promise. But opposite Pluto, Pluto the ruler of the underworld, Pluto about death, crisis, transformation. Her moon was exactly opposite Pluto at that moment when this monster that she called lover threatened to kill her and her baby in the most heinous way. So I want you to please know there's a lot of this going on. And I want you to please know you have people who want to help you, that are trained to help you in your very city. I don't care if you live out in the woods, in the country. There are doctors and nurses and psychotherapists and policemen, loving, caring policemen whose purpose, oath, and goal is to stomp out and kill crime and the diabolical. And I'm asking you not to suffer alone. It's okay. This weird and crazy thing comes over us when the person, whether it's our mommy or our daddy, that's supposed to protect us and save us, turn on us and hurt us. And this splits off the mind and causes mental illness, friends. This splits off the mind and causes our children to act out and be aggressive. And please pay attention if that's happening, because somebody somewhere is trying to overpower that little child, that wife, that woman. And I'm calling on you, and if I have any men in my group in 3 Keys Astrology that are abusive or diabolical, get the hell out of our group. Our group is about the evolution of the soul and about good and healthy relationships. And there is no room for anyone that's raising their hand or inflicting pain and suffering through your words or your fists on someone who's weaker than you, who weighs less than you, who is female or a child. So this Taurus against Scorpio is a clash of sexes, and it is about our sex and money. And all of my videos for November and those last weeks of October talk about this rising, building, power, control, and domination. And it is, we need not to be afraid to ask for help. It's all right to be weak. It happens to all of us. We're born fragile. We are but a breath. And so I'm asking you and begging you, if you're living in any kind of situation, to make that phone call and reach out for that help. There are loving, caring people in this world, and you don't have to live that way. And you don't have to feel like you have nowhere to go. It's not going to be comfortable for a little while. Give yourself a good 6 or 9 months to say, I might have to move. I have to leave. I might have to leave with clothes on my back. But I'm going to take myself and my children to a family member or a home or a crisis shelter where we're safe. And I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my own life and the life of my children. So I'm asking you, I'm going to close this video, asking every single member in the group to pray for that family of that young lady. She's young. She's not 30 yet. And I was 24 when I met the person who would beat me and scare me and fracture me and confuse me. And this person was a master manipulator. And he was very big and very strong and very powerful. And he had a woman and he had lots of women that I didn't know about. I was young and newly divorced. And I'm not afraid of this person anymore. But I was afraid of him for a long time and controlled by him and his maniacal and manipulative, sick and twisted. He was a Scorpio, as a matter of fact. I am a Taurus, as a matter of fact. And that person had a lot of issues that someone who's 24 years old couldn't possibly begin to know. And so don't be upset with yourself if you've made it or married or fallen in love with the wrong person. It happens. We don't have guidebooks about how to do this. But I just want you to know that this is not a time to be monkeying around, that people's tempers, Mercury's at 0 degrees right now in retrograde. And this is in the caustic energy of the moon with Mars in that cardinal cross and the building full moon, putting all of the pressures on the earth very high. The weather will be tumultuous. People's temperaments will be tumultuous. And people will be erratic and will flame into tempers off in a split second. So people that are tired, people that are aggressive, people that are unhinged, people that throw power at you, people that are trying to control you, pay attention to who they are and get the hell away from them. Nobody's got to live. Nobody's got the right to hurt you. No one's got the right to insult you, put you down, physically harm you. Never. They don't have the right. And you have to find the power in you, that Plutonian transformation, your inner strength and power, to call for help and to be at peace and give yourself a good 6 months, a year. Sometimes it takes longer when we've been physically abused. Your mind is split and fractured. This person that's supposed to protect you and love you has now hurt you. And sometimes that takes decades to get over. So I'm just asking you not to be afraid and to dial those phone numbers and to get that help. And I'm asking all of you that hear these sounds coming through the walls of your apartment complex or from your next door neighbor. And I'm asking you to respect the police. And before you start screaming and hollering, put yourself in their shoes. You don't have a job like they have. You don't see the things that they see. They see the ugliest parts of human nature. They see people doing heinous things. And that's their everyday work. Because kid yourself not, we live among and go Google the crime in your own neighborhood, in your area before you get so high and mighty and think that you don't need law and order. You wouldn't want to live in a world where you had to defend yourself and where there was no one to help you, no social agencies to protect you, no police, no firemen, and no EMTs. And I don't want to end this video preaching, but all of these are, everybody that I just mentioned does have a Pluto-like career, Mars-like career. Mars and Pluto and Scorpio are the strongest, most criminal, most dangerous, most forensic parts, whether you're on the good side of that or the ugly side of that. And against Taurus and the moon is people, and it's the public. We're going to see news that we wish we could unsee. So I'm going to leave you with this video asking you not to shut your mouth, asking you to step in and be. We have an Archangel Michael in our Catholic Church, and he is the patron saint of policemen, firemen, and people who aren't afraid to rush in when there's crisis Thank God there are people like that, and men like that, and mothers who raise men to be gentlemen, and mothers who raise men to step up, because those people that harm women and children are big weaklings and are not strong and are not good. And so, at this moment in time, it's wonderful that we have saints to pray to, and I pray to them all the time. And it's wonderful that we have angels. God made these people like this for us, and they're here down on this earth doing earth angel work. And it's wonderful to have this abstract and intangible force that's always around us. But at this time, this next 6 weeks, don't stay alone and light candles and pray by yourself in church. This is action time. And it is indeed when times like this, when the cruel and diabolical and power mongers and control freaks are hitting women and hurting children and causing harm and cruelty and devastation and destruction. It's at this time that we take that Mars and Pluto energy for ourselves, and we make the change, and we make the phone call, and we stand up to their cruel and insidious and sickening and suspicious diabolical threats. Stand up and face them down, and don't put up with it anymore. And so please, I leave this prayer. You know who you are. If you're watching this video, I can't stop thinking about you or anyone else that's been hurt like this. I know how badly it feels and how scared you are, especially when you have children and not a lot of money and not a lot of options or a family to help you. And I leave this with my heart and soul that you unlock the door and get away from that person forever. And don't allow it, and get the help that you need so that your mind, body, and soul can be free. This girl had Uranus right on the cusp of the 8th house, which is crisis, where her moon and her sun is. And the 8th house is a house of death, crisis, intensity. It's other people's money, and all of these things were brought up opposite Pluto, the control freak, in the 2nd house of Scorpio, the devil in the man instead of the gentle man that she trusted and lives with, who decided that he was going to take her life and threatened to cut her baby out of her belly. So, there's a lot going on that we don't see and people are afraid to talk about. My Facebook, my private astrology Facebook group, is a place to have friends and to feel open about things such as this. But make no mistake, we aren't the qualified psychotherapists. We're not the doctors and nurses. We're not the police and the EMTs. But we know a lot of people that'll help you and want to help you. And you've got emergency phone numbers everywhere that you are if you live in the United States of America. So get help, reach out, don't be afraid. Make those changes for a better life and unlock those prisons where you feel helpless. Take care, everyone, and don't underestimate what is going on in our world. And I hope it's not going on in your own home. Take care. Bye for now.